We are being taken into a motel room to see something that is both uniquely dangerous and stunningly common.
I compromise everything about myself to do this drug.
Anna closes the curtain for privacy. She is the daughter of a doctor. She trained as a paramedic herself, and so she knows the extreme risks she is taking every few hours. And yet Anna cannot stop. Fentanyl is the nightmare synthetic drug 100 times stronger than morphine that is ripping through America and killing addicts by the tens of thousands.
I hate it, but it's my best friend. I hope it's not going to be death for me. I hope it's not going to be death for me. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I have to.
You want to live?
Yeah.
Her addiction began after the death of her father and her own cancer diagnosis. The loneliness of COVID, an accelerant.
People say like, oh, marijuana is the gateway drug, like trauma is the gateway drug.
Anna has 3 children who live with their father.
What would you say to your kids right now?
I love you, I love you, I love you. I miss you.
Fentanyl is everywhere.
Is it framed?
At the motel, we see a driver slumped at the wheel, having just taken the drug. A mile away, paramedics and firefighters have just saved a man who has overdosed.
How far am I now away from a drug deal?
Oh, yeah, within a couple of steps.
Michael DELEON is a former dealer, now trying to save addicts. He has long been my guide to the storm of this underreported tragedy that in the last 18 months has been overshadowed by COVID. 6 years ago, DELEON warned me what was coming down the tracks.
This storm is only just begun.
And so it's come to pass.
We'll lose between 100 and 125,000 documented cases of drug overdose death in 2021. I believe by 2023 we'll see 250,000. We'll double in the next 2 to 3 years. That's how much fentanyl is coming into our country. What COVID did was put a big cover over the addiction pandemic. It's the pandemic within the pandemic, but people aren't paying attention to it.
The timing has been truly catastrophic. For several years, fentanyl has been flooding in to Middle America, and then COVID hit, destroying support systems, closing rehab clinics, and decimating the economy. For many recovering addicts, there was only one person still waiting in the wings, their dealer.
But a lot of these drug dealers, they're just in it for money, and our children are expendable to them.
In March, TONYA lost her son Quentin to fentanyl. Dealers exploiting his loneliness, and his addiction support services stripped back by COVID restrictions.
That isolation feeds addiction.
So COVID you see it as a co-conspirator in Quentin's death?
Most certainly I do. Most certainly.
She spent an hour with her son's body in the emergency room.
Play with his hair and kiss his cheeks and tell him how much I love him.
Thanks. Fentanyl, 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 fentanyl.
In the evidence room, police see fentanyl is so lethal they triple bag it, and for good reason. An officer who was recently handling just a minute amount collapsed on the police station floor.
This is literally taking your own life in your hands every time. And for an addict, that's every day.
For Anna, the toll of COVID and the power of fentanyl have intertwined, and she is left with nowhere to turn.
I feel like maybe some people think, oh, well, I mean, if they're using drugs, then screw it anyway. They deserve to die. Like, who cares if they die? But that's not true. We're amazing people, too. We have talents. We have reasons to be here. There's good things about us. We deserve to live. Like, we matter.
Robert Moore, News at 10 in Tennessee.